Can you give me 5 minutes? In 5 minutes, I can make you an expert on biodiversity.
All right, let's jump right in. Biodiversity. It sounds like a big, complicated science word, right? But at its heart, it's pretty simple. It's the variety of all life on Earth. But it's way, way more than just counting up a bunch of cool animals. It's this incredible, tangled web that connects every single living thing. And getting a handle on it is absolutely crucial to understanding the health of our planet.
And when we say variety, we mean variety on every level. Think about it. It's the tiny invisible differences in the DNA between two ladybugs of the same species. It's all the different kinds of creatures and plants living together in a rainforest. And it's even the variety of those big ecosystems themselves, from scorching deserts to vibrant coral reefs. It's the whole shebang.
So, here's the bottom line, the big takeaway. The more biodiversity you have, the healthier that ecosystem is. It's more stable, it's more resilient. You can think of it like a safety net. With more variety, the whole system is better at handling shocks, like a new disease or a sudden climate shift, and bouncing back strong. A healthy planet is a diverse planet. Simple as that.
Okay, to really wrap our heads around this, we need to break it down a bit. Because biodiversity isn't just one giant, messy concept. Scientists actually look at it on 3 different levels. So let's zoom in and peel back the layers, going from the biggest picture all the way down to the microscopic.
First up, at the very top, you've got habitat diversity. This is the range of different environments in a region, having forests and grasslands and wetlands all coexisting. Now let's zoom in a little closer into one of those habitats. That's where you find species diversity. This is probably what you think of first, all the different species of birds, bugs, trees, you name it. And if we zoom in one more time on just one of those species, we get to genetic diversity, all that hidden internal variety in the gene pool. All 3 of these are totally essential.
Now let's stick with that middle level, species diversity, for just a minute because it gets even more interesting. It turns out that just counting up the number of species doesn't give you the full picture. Not even close. It's also about balance. And this brings us to a little tale of 2 forests.
So that begs a question, right? How do you actually measure this? If you're a scientist and you walk into 2 forests, how can you say for sure which one is truly more diverse? What are you even looking for?
Well, it comes down to 2 key ideas: richness and evenness. Richness is the easy part. It's literally just a head count of how many different species you can find. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. But evenness, that's where the real story is. It tells you how balanced the populations of those species are. Is one species totally dominating everything, or is there a nice, healthy mix?
And this example makes it crystal clear. Check out these 2 communities. They both have the exact same species richness, 4 types of trees. But look at the difference. Community 1 is perfectly balanced, high evenness with a 25% split. It's a healthy, stable mix. Now look at community 2. Whoa, one species is just taking over, making up 70% of the whole forest. So even though their richness is identical, there's no question that community 1 is the healthier, more truly diverse ecosystem.
Okay, so balance is clearly super important. But what about that deepest level we talked about, genetic diversity? What happens when that gets hit hard and a whole bunch of that variety is suddenly just gone? Well, this is where we see some really dramatic stuff happen.
It's a phenomenon called the bottleneck effect. Picture this. Some random catastrophe happens, a wildfire, a flood, a new disease, and it wipes out a massive chunk of a population. The most important word here is random. This is not survival of the fittest, it's just pure dumb luck. And the tiny group of survivors, their genes are all that's left to rebuild from, and that can be a huge problem.
The absolute best way to picture this is with a bottle of marbles. Imagine the bottle is full of all sorts of colors and patterns. That's your original, healthy, diverse population. Now, the bottleneck event is like shaking that bottle and tipping it over so only a few marbles fall out. That new little group is now your entire population. It's a completely random and much, much less diverse sample of what you started with. All that amazing variety is just gone.
And listen, this isn't just a textbook theory. This happens for real. In the 1980s, the entire world population of the California condor crashed to just about 25 birds. 25, that's it. Through a massive effort, scientists brought them back. But every single condor alive today is descended from that tiny, genetically limited group. That's a classic, real-world bottleneck.
So what's the big deal? Well, the consequences are huge. When you have low genetic diversity, a population becomes incredibly vulnerable. A single disease can sweep through and wipe everyone out. Kind of like how the potato blight caused the Irish potato famine because all the potatoes were genetically the same. It can also lead to serious inbreeding problems like a heart defect seen in the tiny Florida panther population. See, in biodiversity, variety isn't just nice to have, it's your armor.
So all of this eventually leads back to us, the human factor. How do we fit into this whole story? And maybe most importantly, what is the single biggest thing we're doing that's driving biodiversity loss today? So let's just ask it directly. What is the #1 threat? You might think of pollution or maybe overhunting, and yeah, those are really bad for sure. But the biggest threat of all is actually something much more fundamental.
It's habitat loss, plain and simple. When we clear a forest, or drain a wetland, or pave over a prairie, we aren't just getting rid of some trees or some dirt. We are destroying the very foundation, the home, that all 3 levels of biodiversity need to survive.
And when that happens, it kicks off a devastating domino effect that connects everything we've just talked about. See? Habitat loss causes species populations to shrink. Those smaller populations then go through genetic bottlenecks, and those bottlenecks create a permanent loss of genetic diversity, making the survivors even weaker. It all starts with losing your home.
Which leaves us with one last big thought. We've seen over and over that variety at the genetic, species, and habitat level is the absolute key to a healthy, resilient planet. So the question for us, for all of us, is how can we protect what's left and help restore what's been lost? It's a huge question, but the answer has to start with understanding what we've just gone over. Thanks for giving me 5. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment.